Hello. I'm going to start today's video by reading a quote from F. Scott Fitzgerald on hope. It's poignant, it really hit me, and it relates to the topic that is in the title. So let me read the quote first. Look at Minnie. She's wearing her little socks because she's been licking her feet. So those are her little Mary Jane socks. I can't even stand it. Like, look how cute. But anyway, okay. The hope quote. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Hope. For what it's worth, it's never too late, or in my case, too early, to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit. Start whenever you want. You can change or stay the same. There are no rules to this thing. We can make the best or the worst of it. I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you've never felt before. I hope you meet people who have a different point of view. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you're not, I hope you have the courage to start over again. Is that not heavy? And we're going to look at this quote more. It reminded me of the video a couple of months ago that I made, and I looked up the number 175, and I had asked and received responses, would you ever do this again? Would you ever do it again? This whole narcissistic experience, would you do it again? And that directly relates to hope, in my opinion, because for those of you that answered no right out, I get it. Oh, I get it. Oh, I very much get that. I don't want those people, though, to have lost hope for their future, for meeting someone else, for not finding this person again, another kind of person like this. I don't want them to lose their hope on them getting their piece of this love relationship pie that we search for. I don't want anyone losing hope, right? There are some people, by the way, in response to that question, would you ever do it again? Some people landed on yes, like my answer is yes, and we're going to talk a little bit about that again. And some people just don't know. They're in between. Either way, it reminds me that we all have control over what direction our life takes at every single moment. And what does he say? You can change or you can stay the same. I don't like who I even became with the narcissist, so I'm not going anywhere near that behavior again, right? And my answer to whether or not I would do it again was a resounding yes, because, and I mentioned it, and you can look up video 175 and watch it, was because I needed to learn these lessons, and I did learn these lessons. And they are serving me well, these lessons. They've already been helpful. I'm starting to put my toe out into the world, and I'm starting to just talk to people maybe and feel out the whole dating scene again. I'm telling you what, that love bombing is very evident now. And you might say, well, how do you know it's a love? I don't. I'm not going anywhere near it if it even smells like it. And you might say, well, you might lose, a good guy if you think he's love bombing you and you drop him. If he's not, if they're not love bombing you, they'll keep coming back, won't they? They'll keep trying. And you'll have to just weigh it and see. A lot of you that said, let me run in the other direction, there's parts of this quote for you too. I hope you meet people who have a different point of view. I love that we all have different points of view because we've all been through different experiences. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you're not, I hope you have the courage to start over again. If your relationship was so miserable and you I would never do it again, so don't. We can't affect what we did. We can't change what we did. But going forward, this quote teaches us you cannot do it again. You can go forward in a different manner. You can go forward and change your life at any moment. And if you think that you're the type that does keep picking people or responding to the same kind of person, and for you too, it wasn't your first narcissist. I know it wasn't my first narcissist. You want to look at that and put this quote into function in your life. Right? There's too much good in this quote that we can't. It's never too late, or in my case, too early, F. Scott Fitzgerald puts in there, to be whoever you want to be. There's no time limit. Start whenever you want. Whether or not you would do this relationship again relates to this quote to me many different ways, because hope is the dangerous thing that we hang on to when we're a victim inside the relationship. And hope is what we need to hang on to once we leave the relationship for ourselves. It's very dangerous for us to hang on to hope that they're going to change, that they're going to come around, that they're going to, okay? But we have to revert to hope once we're exited out of the relationship. For yourself. Not to do with a relationship, not to do with finding a relationship, not to do with whether or not they're going to change. For yourself. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to land? So that's all of what we need to work on once we do exit the relationship. And even if you're in it, you might be trying to gain strength and gain get your things in order. A lot of women do that before you depart. You need to rely on hope. Rewind this video and listen to that quote over and over again. It's fascinating. I've read it 50 times. And I keep picking out little phrases that are helpful to me in different ways. And it just reminded me of video 175, because that was about whether or not you thought you would do it again. And I think that relates to hope. I don't want anyone sitting in a relationship that they think, ugh, this was the worst mistake of my life. I would never do this again. How could I have been so blind? That's why I encourage you, please try to see that maybe you would even do it again. You don't want to admit it. I don't even like to say it out loud that I would do it again. I don't even like to say it out loud. But I would. It's taught me so much that I'm already putting into use. If anything, it taught me about my own strength, right? I'm not as much in the warrior category where I put you women and men, but it's many times women who have been married 20 and 30 years to this kind of cat. You're the superheroes, in my opinion, that you've dealt with it for that long. Superheroes. Wonder Woman. Superman. I can't even imagine the job that does on your brain over the course of all those years. But as I stated in video 175, if you've had children with that person, there's your answer. Of course, you'd do it again. If you live in a locale that you love, that was brought to you from the narcissist's suggestion to move there, and now you have friends and habits and patterns and a whole life in that area that you love, that's from your narcissist. If you're in a job connected to maybe something you did together, or he helped put you through school, or watched the kids, or she watched the kids and put you through school, whichever it is, you have to thank that person, or thank the universe for having sent you that person. They may have landed you somewhere that you would not have landed. I know it is absolute torture surrounding anything that might be good. The reason I so want to encourage people to try not to just... Half of the answers were no's. I asked for responses. I told you I would make a subsequent video where I would follow up. Half of them were no's. Some of them, were maybes. And some of them, I think some of us do realize, no, I wouldn't have what I have. I wouldn't have what I have. In my case, it was the lessons, right? He didn't leave me with a financial windfall. He wasn't my ex-husband and we divorced and no. We didn't have children, no. You know what I mean? But the lessons are invaluable that I took forth. And I think that the hope I feel now is more than I ever did before. I think before, pre-narcissist, I look at it now like she was so innocent. I had this false hope bouncing through life thinking I'm going to meet, I'm going to have my Cinderella story. And now I have hope. Yes, I may have my Cinderella story, but I have my head on tighter and better and stronger to be able to actually identify it when it comes along, to actually have the hope involved in getting back out there. I want to change my existence to have it be in a healthy relationship. Probably that would be, I hope where I land will be the healthiest relationship of my life, and that's why you pick it and that's why you land there, right? If you have been in the healthiest relationship of your life, I hope you're still in it. I obviously don't think I have been, otherwise I would still be in one of those. The quote is very powerful. F. Scott Fitzgerald on hope. I hope you see things that startle you. I hope you feel things you've never felt before. Now, both of those can relate to both the positive and the negative that we experienced with the narcissist, can't they? Of course they do. I saw many things that startled the death out of me with that narcissist. Many things. And I saw many things that I felt many things that I never felt before. Now I know they're not real. So, would you do it again? That wasn't real, but you bet your sweet Bippy I'd like to find it again. I'd like to do a relationship again and feel things that are real. My narcissist absolutely was a bad one. I caught a real toxic one. And I still managed to find the positive in the experience. And my hope for all of us is that we can land there. If for no other reason, it's better for our psyche. So I really encourage you to look at it truthfully. If you can manage to land in a positive place about the relationship, it will help you going forward. And you may just on principle say, I don't want to land in a positive place. No way, Renee, I'm not. No, it was awful. I would run the other direction. One person, I love this comment, I would have stayed home the day I met them. I love that. I love that. That's a great one. It means no, they wouldn't go back in. But it's a humorous way. I would have just stayed home that night. If I did, I would never have met him. But guess what? I bet that means that right now I would be in another narcissistic relationship, maybe worse than him, and I'd be learning it now. I like having it behind me. I don't know about you. I like that it's done. It had to happen for me. 1,000%. I was never going to learn if it didn't happen this way. For some reason, I don't hear whispers. I never did. So I encourage you to keep hope that you will iron out the wrinkles of it for your future so that you can see more clearly and land in a more positive space about it. That's what I'd like for people. I don't like people carrying around negative weight. That weight on me, when I was just feeling miserable about it and oh my God, and this is awful, and before I really started to organize my thoughts and write it all out and do the research and start this channel, it was heavy. I felt heavy. And now I can't help but feel lighter about it. I can't help but feel positive about the experience, which leads me to be hopeful for my future. I don't know what's happening with him, but my future can be all these things that F. Scott Fitzgerald talks about. And you can change it and make it be whatever you want. I find the question still interesting. Would you do it again? I really do find it interesting. And I tend to try to find the positive in something because that's the energy I like to carry. I like to land on the good. I like to look at whatever happened, not just the narcissistic relationship. It's a theme throughout my life. When something happens, I tend to try to see, okay, why did this happen? What can I gain from this? What did I gain from this? What did I learn from this? How can I carry this forward to be and have a positive effect on my life? Maybe you met the narcissist so that you can keep an eye out for a daughter you have, or a niece you have, or a nephew. Both genders go through this. Maybe that's why you went through it. Maybe that's it. Just maybe it's going to come up one day and you'll have the perfect amount of advice for someone else. And you'll save them the trouble. That's a pretty big plus going through this. It's a topic that needed revisiting. I saw this quote. It reminded me of that video. So I'm mixing them together. But please, I would like us all to land on being hopeful. Don't let anything ever dash your hope. Because now that we're not with the narcissist, we want the hope. We need the hope now. When you're with the narcissist, you're hanging on to the hope they're going to change. That's the most dangerous thing a victim can do. And we know why, right? Because they're not going to. So keep hope going forward.